Hi guys, this is Series 1, which is designed to help set up a Active Directory domain controller based around a Windows Server 2003 R2 server. This is episode 2, which means we are doing the file services. So that involves setting up shared folders. So, need to log on first, obviously, because we can't do much else. So once we've logged on, we need to close the Manage Your Server wizard. We need to set a static IP address. Now, what that means is the IP address of the server stays the same unless you want to change it. The other option is a dynamic IP address, which isn't recommended because that means the address might change. An IP address is just like like sending a postcard somewhere, you know. The address might change, then you stuffed, you know. Anyway, if you get what I'm on about, we'll need to change the IP address on this server. So to do that, we'll need to go to Control Panel, Network Connections, right click on Local Area Connection, and Properties. If we go to Internet Protocol and click Properties, you'll see that it says obtain an IP address automatically and obtain a DNS server automatically. So to find out what it's picked up automatically, we'll need to go to command prompt and type in ipconfig/all. So you can see here, you find the name of the server. We go down and it will say the IP address that it's found, and it's picked that up off my main server there. That's the IP address of my main server. So let's set a static IP address. We click the use the following IP address box here, and in the IP address text box we need to type in the IP address that we want it to have. If you're on a home network or a small business network, you might, well, the chances are you're going to be using a 192.168.1. Range for your IP address. To find that out, as I say, we go to ipconfig and see that mine isn't 192.168, mine's 10.0.0. whatever. So you'll need to enter your IP address that you want here, so it'll be 192.168.1.12 say, but I don't want that on mine because I'm not on that range. So on mine I want 10.0.1.100 in this case. Each different machine's got to have a different IP address, so otherwise they'll conflict and you don't want to know what'll happen. So subnet mask will be entered automatically when you click tab, and default gateway, you'll want the IP address of your router or firewall. That's mine in this case, and the DNS server is that also. Click OK to this, close, and it should take a few seconds while it applies it. And to test that it's applied that IP address, we go to command prompt and type in ipconfig/all. And here we go, so that's where I typed it in. Down here, 10.0.1.100. Okay, so now that's set up, we need to install the file services role. To do that, we go to Start, Administrative Tools, Manage Your Server. Once that's loaded, go to Add or Remove a Role, and Next. So we need to install the file server role, which is sort of the typical setup for a very, 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 very basic server. So we're going to click next, next again, and it says welcome to the add file server role. This will allow you to set up the file shares, the disk and volume management, storage reporting, directory quotas and file screening, and the distributed file system. So we need to click next. In this tutorial we're not going to be using DFS replication, SAN or the Unix service. We're just going to be using file shares, which are basically the basic of the basic. That's complicated to say that. What you might want is to tick the share files with Apple Macintosh computers if you've got any, Apple Macs on the same network. I haven't, so I've unticked it. Click next, and it should start installing. And that might take a few minutes, or it might take a few seconds, like in this tutorial. So now we've clicked finish, and we'll find out that that's just updated. Now it says we're a file server here, so we can go to manage this file server. Oh, it's loaded twice. There we go. So here we are in the file server wizard, or well, management console I suppose. So here you can add the DFS replication if you want that, but we don't want that in a minute. Shared folder management, which is what we will be using, the disk and volume management, and the file server resource manager. So to find out the amount of disk space we actually have on this machine, we go to my computer, and it'll say total size and then your hard disk size. This is a virtual machine, which is why it hasn't got a very large hard disk. So we want to set up a share, don't we? So share folder management, shared folders, shares. Now these are the default that are set up to allow certain things to work within this version of server. So as you can see, if we go to run and // the server name, that's the name of this server, and we'll see that there's no shared folders, even though it says it there, right? The reason that they're not actually being shown in this Explorer window is because of this $sign here, which tells it to hide the share. So what we need to do is we need to create a new share, and we'll need to click next. So we need to type the physical path of the share, which in this test will be C data. Click next, and it will say that that path doesn't exist. So yes, we want to create it. So it will be shared as data. Now we want to change the offline setting, because what happens is client machines will tend to cache the files, which can be a bit annoying and just generally not what you want. So you have to click on change there and select files or programs from the share will not be available offline, and that'll change there as well. So next. Now permissions, we need to change them. What we'll need is Well, you don't have to change them if you don't want to, but administrators have full access, while other users have read or write access, and there's also no read-only access for other users. So what you can do is you can click custom if you want to, and click customize. Here you can add users and type their names in, although we don't have any users set up, so they won't appear. So we're just going to set it up as a default, which is all users have read-only access. Okay, so we can click close, and you'll see that folder there will appear here. So we can now go to My Computer, drive C, and see that the data folder that we set there, C data, has appeared, which is good, because that's what we want. And you'll also see, if we just close that, if we go back to start run and // the server name, click OK, you'll see a data folder appear. Double click on that and start dumping files there, although I can't do that because I didn't set the permissions right. You can start dumping permissions, some files there if you have the permissions set right. Okay, so that concludes this video. The next video will be configuring Active Directory on this version of Windows Server.